just feeling this state that we're in at the moment, and I can feel what the whales felt a little while ago and what they're feeling, and they can feel this anxiety and this fear that's currently circling the planet, and emanating from a lot of these human transmitters. And it's our challenge at the moment to change this vibration of fear and anxiety that's encircling the globe to one of love and compassion and strength and courage.
Where we're all in a lockdown, to really, really be conscious about what we're doing. For me personally, I've started doing way more practices than I've ever done before when I've been like massively busy. I'm doing yoga twice a day, I'm walking, I'm doing fire pujas. And yeah, I just feel that this is such an incredible time for our transformation on this planet. So yeah, I just want to give thanks to all of the spirits, all of the ancestors, the directions, the elements, all of these incredible light beings that are with us all of the time, our spirit guides and protectors.
Hi everyone, this is Darpan, and yes, I think this is an amazing opportunity. You're quite right, Dean, and I think you know, I like to look at it as every cloud has a silver lining, and although we've been restricted in many ways, which is very much in line with the Saturnian energies in the sky at the moment, and by authority, Pluto, which is definitely in sync with what's happening. I think that the jewel in all of this is that we're about to enter into something quite profound. I don't think the world will ever be the same as it was before. And we're entering into the birth pangs, the initial labor pangs of the birthing of a new paradigm, a new consciousness. And it involves a very powerful mix in the alchemical crucible of opposing forces, the light, the dark, immense pressure, heat, cold. And I think that, like what we're about to enter into is a kind of an initiation, like back in the days of the old days of Eleusis and the mystery schools, where at this time it's a collective one where we have to face our darkness. And what is happening around the planet right now appears to be a lot of shadow emanations of the lower chakras, which is being characterized as fear, disempowerment, alienation, separation. And of course, we have to feel these things, feel them and really own them and acknowledge them and let them go. And we're entering into a long, dark night of the soul, which I think will probably remain until the rest of the year, where we're into this kind of like no man's land where nobody knows really what's going on and what is real and what is not real. So what I would like to call in for today is presence and alertness and staying awake and staying in sovereignty, staying in presence, so that we're not being swayed by mass media or by propaganda or by other people's opinions, and just tuning in to ourselves. So in other words, disengaging from the outside authority and opening up, as we've been doing anyway together in this area, into more to our inner authority, and to really use our discernment as to what is real and what is not real. So we have to decide for ourselves rather than being told. I think it's a time for all of humanity to grow up. And it's a kind of an initiation, like going through puberty, to sort of like come to a point where we can take responsibility for our own sovereignty. And I think this is the real jewel in the mind that we've got to look for, because it's so easy to be seduced into the whole hypnosis of what's going on around the planet, which in one way can be seen as a massive social conditioning experiment.
It is an amazing opportunity, and it's kind of presented like a double-edged sword. But really what I think is happening is a reckoning. Humans are having to face their creation. And in a lot of ways, we've been living in an unsustainable way, and it was coming, and we knew it was coming, and it has felt for a long time like this moment was coming. And now it's here, it's an opportunity for us to look in the face the lives that we've been living in the world that we've created. So for me, what I'm calling in is the awakening, humans to awaken, light on planet Earth, the awakening of our awareness of who we truly are and our divinity. And in any way that myself and anybody that is around me can be inspired to do the same, and this amazing community of people who are adding to that. I'm so honored to be a part of this process and return at this time for this amazing chapter of humanity. Aho.
Aho. Oh, what are you calling in?
I'm calling in holistic presence. I'm calling in absolute saturation with the light. I'm calling in the release of all illusions of suffering. I'm calling in humanity's awakening from the nightmare. I'm calling in Gaia's grace and the celebration of creation. The release of fear from the heart. The sense of separation, being healed. The waves of guilt that we pretend not to have, that I feel. Calling in the authenticity and transparency and our awakening to the divine grace of reality.
I have been doing all my practice, as I'm sure everybody else has, of staying present and grounded and connected to my body and connected to the earth. And for me also, it's important to understand the methods, psychological methods of control and social conditioning that are going on. I'm sure everybody here is, we're all experienced 9/11. We all experienced the social changes that happened as a result of that, the restrictions of freedom. And, I'm just all in on this is the biggest scam that has been pulled on humanity. And unfortunately, at this point in time, although I know that there's a great opportunity for something magnificent to happen out of this, and I'm trusting that will happen, what I envisage going on, because it's been so planned for so long, and anybody that's been studying the New World Order agendas can see that this just has all the hallmarks of a created opportunity to implement even further global enslavement. And so I'm watching all that. I'm watching lots of people stay in absolute denial of that process at the moment, thinking that this is all going to blow over and things go back to how they were, and I don't see that happening. So, I'd love to bring more positivity into this space, but I also like to know the enemy and know again, these social conditioning methods that are being used on us to pull the wool over people's eyes. It is like waking up in part of a bad trip at the moment, from day to day. And as I'm sure you all have all navigated through those challenging stages in an initiatory process, I'm knowing that will transform with time and insight perspective as well. And I'm trusting the wisdom of my body. That's probably all I have to offer to begin with. Thanks for being here.
And that was a bill amongst many other things, but it was basically a Corona bill, which was pushing through a whole bunch of incredibly draconian legislation, which we would never ever allowed anything like that in normal times. But in these times, it seems like a lot of governments think they can just do anything, and some things that they do is important, like whatever. But one of those things was forced vaccination. Now that's not just sort of withdrawing sort of the dole or other things. It's actually like physically holding you down and jabbing you with a fucking whatever they want to stick into you. And as soon as I read that, I thought, wow, there's, you know, as much as I wanted to believe that this was just a sort of a natural reaction to a pandemic, when I started seeing that and lots of other things as well, you know, and just starting to just be open to whatever is being revealed, I started feeling that there was something a bit more seriously sinister going on here. I hear Daniel Pinchbeck's sort of words, you know, echoing in my mind that it's not just enough to choose love over fear. We actually have to physically put into mechanism the processes that is an expression of love, you know. So, you know, the people looking after the elderly, the people, you know, creating veggie gardens for the people, you know, all the systems that, you know, to support each other, which is an expression of this love over fear. So as I, you know, call in the highest possible potential for humanity, I also feel the need for all of us to step up in what our passion and what our power is, and to really do that in the most effective and most powerful way possible.
That we need to keep going deeper and deeper into our own hearts, and using this time as Darpan says, the time where the caterpillar is in the cocoon and we've all just become complete liquid, and we have no idea whether we're going to come out as magnificent butterflies or not. But we have to believe that that's what's going to happen. So that's, yeah, I just kind of like to leave it with that, really, to just guide ourselves back and to vision this future that we want to connect with and we want to live in, and we want to give to the next generations in walking in honor, walking in prayer, walking in humility, and acknowledging all of the spirit guides and protectors, acknowledging all of the spirits of the trees, the animals, the waters, and pray, just remind ourselves to all the directions that they go off in, especially at the moment, is to just remind ourselves, come back to prayer, to gratitude, to love, to honoring, to remembering our ancestors, and to pray that we can walk in the footsteps of the ancient ones that were connected.
Because I've been for years with Osho in India, and he always talked about this state of unity consciousness, where the duality that we experience in 3D space-time becomes resolved into one. And many of you have had this experience through the Bufo and through other agencies, but this is the first time I ever had it. And when that happened, it was like the biggest birthday present you could possibly ever imagine for the human race. It was just like, wow. And I thought, well, right, if that's where we're going with this medicines, then I'm in, boots and all. My hands, my feet, my being is available for this. And by the way, I don't need to know how we get there. That's your business, spirit, that is, you know, what that state of consciousness. And I'm just here in 3D space-time to walk this out and live it out as you want me to do it. Just give me the next step and I'll do that to the best of my ability. When that's done, just give me the next step. And that's how I've lived my life since. And the thing was that in that state of like golden consciousness, which was like a sense of connectedness, of just being at one with all things, and that it was a feeling of nothing needs to be added. It was a sublime epiphany that is hard to put into words. But I was also shown, after I was given that vision, of the immense journey that we have to travel as a collective species to arrive, if you like, or for that place to arrive within us, for that to be released within us as human beings. And it was around about that time that I started to get the intimation of that. It was like we're about to collectively enter into a massive initiation into the birthing of this new consciousness, and that it was going to be a hell of a ride. And many of us have intimated that in one way or another in our own, you know, dream life, intuitive life, things we've resonated with that other teachers and other seers and prophets and people like that have said. But it was given to me in such a visceral, vivid, very palpable vision. And it wasn't that I saw exactly what we're experiencing now. I just saw this stage of like going into the darkness, as one does in any mystery school or in any initiation that is worth its salt. You know, even an Aboriginal boy going to manhood has to have this shit scared out of him, and he has to face his own very real sense of death, of annihilation, to be reborn into a new sense of consciousness, a new awareness of oneself and oneself in relation to others. And so I saw this journey, this long dark night of the soul that we would have to go through as a species. And yes, a lot of it has to do with the power and the power of the archonic energy that has gripped this planet into what could rightfully be described from that state of what unity consciousness as a prison planet, that we've been actually like imprisoned, that people have been siphoning our energy. And in a certain sense, that was okay, because we were still in the stage of being larval. You know, like if you like, we could look at the planet Earth as a womb, and that we're still in vitro right now, and that our whole history has been just an in vitro dreaming, and that the air that we breathe is like the amniotic fluid inside the womb, and that we're about to be birthed into a greater awareness of who we truly are, just as the fetus does, you know, before it is birthed. And I feel like we're at the stage now where the fetus inside of the womb has grown to such a state that it's about to turn, and it's about to be pushed by peristalsis and labor pangs in towards an impossibly tiny cervix. And we have no control over it. We're just being pushed towards it. And so what does the fetus think at that stage, when its whole 9 months eternity has been suddenly disrupted? It thinks, I'm fucking dying. I'm dying. I'm going, something beyond my power is pushing me towards this thing. And of course, as the baby goes through the cervix and goes through the vaginal canal and endures that ordeal, which both mother and child have to endure that ordeal. And it's quite a dangerous ordeal, because sometimes one or the other can even die in the process, especially so in the past. But anyway, when the baby is born, of course, as parents, we're here going, welcome to the world. Hi, welcome. And it's just thought, I'm dying. But now it's being rebirthed into a whole new reality. And it has a whole new sense of who that baby is. It starts from then on to realize itself in relation to its parents and to the world and to the environment around, the new environment. And I believe that we're going through this kind of peristalsis right now. We're heading towards that bottleneck. And it looks scary, because these forces that are beyond our control, i.e. the cabal, the archonic energies, all these people who have all this immense power who can control all of these things on the planet, you know, yes, they are operating on that level, but we can't give our focus and attention to that, because they are just part of the alchemical mix. Any alchemical mix needs immense pressures in order to produce the lead into gold, or to produce diamond from a graphite or from carbon. Requires immense pressure. And so I believe that this pressure is being put upon us as a collective species right now. And I think it's a good thing. I don't see it as a bad thing. One needs to keep one's head down, stay present, stay alert, and breathe, and surrender to the process. The divine knows exactly what she's doing. Yes, we can tinker with the nuts and bolts of society and try and do political changes. Will we have vaccinations? Will we not? Of course, it's a diabolical plan about the vaccinations. But there are very powerful forces at play here. The polarization of the light and the dark has never been stronger. It is so powerful right now. But they are needed for the mix in order for us to bridge the polarity gap, to arrive at the resolution of the polarity gap into a state of integrated sense of oneness and connectedness to all beings and to the web of life and to nature. And I am an optimist, and I do believe it's going to have a good outcome, because even George Bernard Shaw once said, no army in the world can stop an idea that's coming into its own time. And I don't care if you're the Rothschilds or if you've got the American military and the entire, you know, material forces of the planet at your disposal. What is happening here is the completion of a cosmic cycle as we come to the end of a precessional cycle. And there's the birthing of a whole new cycle. I'm not saying that we're not going to go through shit. I think it's going to get a lot worse from here than it is now. We're just at the beginning of the long dark night of the soul. But we have to just remain aware and alert to where this is all going, and trust and keep the frequency high. And to wherever you are, to stay connected, not to sacrifice your beautiful human values of connection and touch and, you know, being, having picnics and, you know, all those human normal things that we did that have suddenly been, forbidden right now. I heard that 2 people got fined at Sydney Harbour the other day for talking to each other. You know, we're living in a police state. The state, they've given police in this power whole new sweeping powers during this state of lockdown. So we are living in a police state. We have to be very aware and call a spade a spade. There are dark forces afoot, but our focus, our fascination, our awareness has to be placed firmly upon what is being birthed, where this is all going, and to transmit that energy to our brothers and sisters, to give strength and hope. And so we can all just hold firm during this time, because we can't avoid it. Some very powerful forces are at play here, and it is actually going to produce a diamond. It's needed, in fact, to produce a diamond. So we just need to stay connected, keep the frequency, the energy high, stay in the heart, you know, be very discerning. Don't watch the news too much, you know, check in to see what's happening, but it's a mass hypnosis machine. It's propaganda. And if you listen to it enough, you'll start believing it. So the thing is to connect to the heart. This is a beautiful opportunity to disengage from outer authority and reconnect with inner authority, which is where it's been all along. You know, our DNA knows everything. All the decisions that we need to make about life are available to us in our DNA and via the DNA through our intuition. So that's my feeling, and that's my hit on things. And so I feel that we just need to keep reminding ourselves about what is happening in the bigger picture, because that is going to happen whether we like it or not. It's just part of a cosmic cycle, that is shifting of wheels. We just have to let the divine do its thing. It knows exactly how to put the icing on the cake for human beings. And the icing on the cake is this radical shift in consciousness in the way we see things. And these conditions that we're going to be subjected to may be the very thing. Yes, it will cause immense suffering and will bring unconsciousness, but it may also kickstart and trigger people to start really looking within and questioning and just trusting themselves and regaining their sovereignty, which will happen naturally once awareness changes. It's all about the consciousness shift. We don't need to tinker with the nuts and bolts of the system. They've got that system hands down, weighted down, like going to a casino and you play some, you know, crap or roulette or something. It's all weighted towards the house. So taking any political stance has limited effect at best, because they've got the thing weighted to the house. So the one wild card on the deck, the one joker, is the radical shift of consciousness. And that is something that can't be controlled. And yet the powers that be are trying everything to control that. Because whilst the natural flow of the energy on the planet is going up, they're subjecting people to lower shadow emanations of the lower chakras, which I mentioned earlier: disempowerment, fear, alienation, separation. This is to befool us, to keep us from staying with the energy where it's really going in this time. And we just need to surrender, recognize, take responsibility for ourselves, and be present to this process.
Through dreaming deep within the womb of our mother. Now is the time of a great shifting of cosmic wind, which will result in the reformation of our own and trigger a radical shift in consciousness. A galactic tidal wave of light is descending upon the earth, activating the highest potential, raising the frequency. Reality is being reformed, redefined. The activation of new neural patterns will trigger new perceptions, new information, new impulses, and the recalibration of DNA. Open yourself love each other in these coming times. Be kind to each other. Gather in community. Share yourself. Live your dream. Live your heart. Open yourself. Be prepared for the challenges to come. The dark times of chaos and upheaval. We will experience a dynamic recalibration of electromagnetic fields and Earth systems on a global scale. Stay present. Stay calm. Try not to judge what is happening. Surrender to the process. Hold firm in the knowledge of what is being birthed. The process of birthing is an awesome undertaking, an arduous task, often fraught with intensity. Stay in the heart. Stay connected to beloved friends and family. Remember that this too shall pass. It is a necessary purification, a great purge of all that is not in resonance to what is being born in us. All will be redeemed and reformed.
Visualize this light transmuting all remaining coronavirus on Earth.
Healing the crack of separation. We are all one. There is no other. Thank you, whales. Thank you, toad. Thank you, sun. Thank you, fly. Thank you, birds. Thank you, ocean. Thank you, waters. Thank you, breath. Thank you, air. Thank you, everybody, for choosing love. Thank you, sharks, for sacrificing yourselves so we can learn this lesson. Thank you, whales, for having your beautiful open heart to share with us all the time in your soul. Thank you. Thank you, sun, for forever beaming down on us your glory, who we are and you're able to receive. Thank you for everything.
Removing all fear associated with this epidemic and restoring stability.
I don't want stability. I like chaos. Chaos with order. Natural order.
Visualize the course of events on planet Earth shifting into the most positive timeline possible, shifting away from all epidemics, away from all wars, away from all global domination. Visualize white, pink, blue, and golden light, healing all inequalities, erasing all poverty. Visualize a new, grand, cosmic cycle of the age of Aquarius beginning, bringing pure light, love, and happiness to all beings on Earth.
Love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. Love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. Love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. Love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. That will last. That will last. What is the point if you get nothing back? There is no point, for love is around and around and around and around and around. Yeah, what is the point if you get nothing back? There is no point, for love is around and around and around and around and around. Yeah, what is the point if you get nothing back? There is no point, for love is around and around and around and around and around. Yeah, what is the point if you get nothing back? There is no point, for love is around and around and around and around and around. Yeah, 'cause love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. Love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. Love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. Love is the way, love is the path, love is the only thing that will last. That will last. That will last. That will Mismatched, trapped by attractive distractions, caught in the clutches of a golden talon. Where is the center? Return and remember that love is around. Mismatched, trapped by attractive distractions, caught in the clutches of a golden talon. Where is the center? Return and remember that love is around.
Love to fill our hearts and fill our beings, that we don't slip into the shadows and worship greed and fear. We bring it back into our hearts, to our love. Feel the love in all creation. Feel the love in all humanity, feel the love between us and all beings in all realms. This is the love that binds us and holds us. This is who we are becoming, and what we hold for the new humanity. We're birthing a new humanity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everything, thank you. Total grace we receive. Thank you, Sun, for continuing to shine your light into us. And we remain open to receive all that we are capable of receiving. We work towards receiving more.